Voters have tended to favor conservative Republican candidates. That's evangelical voters. They've done that in the past. In the last two presidential elections, Trump garnered the support of 80% of white evangelicals. CBN chief political analyst David Brody brings us this look at how this coalition developed and the key issues in this year's election.
Defining the evangelical voter has always been a challenge, and nowadays it's become even more complicated. Former GOP nominee for president Mike Huckabee says evangelicals don't just fit into one box anymore.
I get so tired of hearing particularly this line. Well, evangelicals are all, and then fill in the blank. Evangelicals are not all anything. Evangelicals are people with a lot of different views.
Huckabee knows the playing field because when he first ran for president in 2008, his more populist tone resonated with evangelicals.
Bless our president, Donald Trump.
Long before Donald Trump came along.
I was talking about working class issues. And at that time, it was a little bit too soon for the Republican Party to hear it.
Fast forward to 2024, and headlines such as Trump has transformed evangelicals and is connecting with a different type of evangelical highlight the change. Those result from the former president's appeal to those who might not attend church regularly and are seen as anti-establishment and anti-elitist. Chad Connolly leads the Get Out the Vote organization, Faith Wins.
I think it's fair that he's brought out a whole different segment of voters that have been really missing.
And that includes evangelicals.
Absolutely includes evangelicals.
A growing distrust of the federal government has helped drive this change. In 2017, 31% of white evangelical Protestants expressed trust in the government. Today, the number has dropped more than half to 15%. Perhaps a more telling shift is the standard on personal morality of a candidate. More than a decade ago, 30% of white evangelicals believed an elected official could commit personal immoral acts and still be ethical in their public life. That number has now skyrocketed to 72%. Then there's the contrast in education. Exit polls in this year's GOP primaries show that while Trump split the college-educated evangelical vote, he wins more than 2/3 of those who didn't go to college.
We heard during the Obama years that the left wouldn't go visit in the areas in Pennsylvania that were coal mining areas, that were just blue collar, go to work, flag waving, God fearing, but might have a beer on a Friday afternoon kind of thing and go to church once a month. I do think that Trump has brought those people out.
Many of those voters are likely former Democrats or independents who have added a new layer to the evangelical column. They're also seen as leaning toward Trump on issues like illegal immigration, economic uncertainty, and that lack of trust in the federal government.
There's something going on in the country.
What he says makes sense, and it makes sense to the hardworking people of America.
Connolly's group is planning a Common Sense America tour, which stops at churches nationwide. Instead of the usual church conference focusing on areas such as life and marriage, this tour will be broader, touching on issues deeply affecting the church.
David, I've been in 11 states this year. Not a single one hasn't been affected by the drug trafficking, the fentanyl. I've had churches who had deacons or members or tithers or people who are really involved in their church, Sunday school teachers who've lost kids to this fentanyl poisoning stuff, or even people in their family and community, and the churches are the backstop. So I just think this populist movement is because people are fed up with what's going on, and you don't have to be a Christian to see it.
David Brody, CBN News.